I'm with Hillary Rubin in LA, and I'm just so honored to get to meet her and talk to her. She's so inspirational, and I just want to say thanks again for talking to me and meeting with me. I'm so inspired by all the teachers that I've had, and there are so many people, Hillary, that I still meet that have not tried yoga. What would you say to them?
Well, what would I say to someone who's never tried yoga, or when I do meet someone who's never tried yoga? Usually, I ask them what they do. What is their self-care routine? It was just an event recently that was a business event for the LA Business Journal. I was nominated as a business owner. And I was sitting at a table, it was a pretty corporate situation, and I said to someone, instead of, because I didn't want them to feel bad.
Sure.
So I just said, well, what is your self-care routine? Like, what do you do? And then she goes, oh, I do this boot camp workout thing. And I said, oh, do you deal with any physical aches and pains? And she said, oh, my back hurts a little bit. I said, what do you do for that? So I kind of opened the conversation to kind of lead where they are and then explain, and then the questions come. So I kind of lead it to see what they do, and then asking questions so I can learn more about them, because it's not necessarily for everyone. Even though it's physically for everybody,
right.
Some people, it's like they need to run and they need to do other things, or just like for me, Tai Chi, I can't do Tai Chi or Qigong. It's too slow, and it probably is good for me.
Sure.
I just sometimes, I just kind of look at it that way, and I've met some of the most really open-hearted, wise, and spiritual people who've never done it. Right. So I don't want to ever make anyone feel excluded because they don't do it. Right. So I just try to find a lead weight, and then they'll ask me what I do. Oh, you're in really great shape. Oh, I do yoga. I've never done yoga before. Oh, why? Well, I think it's this. So it's always kind of finding a way to converse comfortably with someone. That's kind of how I do it.
What has surprised you most on your own personal path, on your own personal journey about yoga?
What has surprised me the most on my own journey of yoga? I have to think about that for a moment.
Okay.
Well, being a teacher, I didn't know that I was going to be interested in teaching people, especially I was working in the fashion industry, so it wasn't something that I thought I would want to be on this side of the cushion, so to speak. In my personal practice, really, I guess we would say it was kind of a little bit of a surprise for me was when I didn't care about the poses, getting them, which in some sense is like getting the Lexus or getting the Porsche or getting the, getting the man or whatever. When I let go of this concept of what was in my limited perspective of getting the pose, a whole world open to me of actually experiencing and actually being able to do a lot more in flexibility. Right. So become, and the person I've become through it all is a sweet surprise. So the whole transformation and the evolution of something that can aesthetically is engaging and visually and auditory, and that's how I learn, it just really all synced up. But the biggest thing was more when I let go of trying to get it,
right?
Whatever that means, or getting the leg behind the head. I was like, I don't care about the poses anymore.
Nice.
And it just opened up a lot for me to appreciate the depth of the study on the physical, on the emotional, on the philosophical. Really in that way.
Very cool. Before you teach a class, do you come in with an intention and how your day is going? I mean, we know all that, drop everything at the door and come in, but do you have something that you come in with to each class, or do you feel bless you, oh, excuse me.
I'm not allergic to flowers, but
maybe.
Excuse me. Well, maybe I'm nervous about the question.
I love that.
No connection. Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. But you know what I mean, like, because I always, as you're a student waiting in the class, you see the teacher and you're just wow. And like I said, my intention with doing this is I'm always so in awe and so inspired of all the different teachers. And so now, as a teacher, I feel such a great responsibility for my students when I walk in. And at times, I think it's just an insecurity thing or something that I'm always feeling like, because now that I'm giving back instead of taking, and it's more of a balance now in yoga for me, I think, wow, what do these other teachers think about before they get to class?
You're asking for my secrets.
Yeah.
That's what I hear. And that's why I sneezed. I was like, wait, it's like my secret sauce.
Cute.
Gosh, a lot of teachers plan, and early on I was a planner. In the beginning, my sequencing, my theming. I mean, teaching Anusara Yoga, which is what I'm certified in, it's not an easy yoga to teach, because there's a philosophy and there's principles, and there's really an art to the teaching of weaving a theme in with the physical sequence, with the what you want to teach within the principles, because it can be overwhelming if you give too much on the alignment and then not enough of the spiritual, or being able to link it. So for me, I would plan, and it worked in the beginning, and then I don't really plan my classes. I will, and that's my creative flow. It feeds me creatively. What I have, and I will show, is something that I wrote down, which is more of a theme for my class tonight. But that's not what I always do. Is I mean, this is just something that's for my theme. That I actually put on Facebook, and there was a huge response, and I was like, all right, I'll write a blog on it, and it's something I want to dialogue on. So it's really more about what's happening for me, and then I tune in to my students, and I'll show up and I won't really know, or I might have a pose or a physical part of the body, and it's kind of, I just tap in, intuitively. I would say I'm a very intuitive teacher. So I'll see where the room is. I teach a lot of beginners, so there's only a certain amount of stuff in therapeutics I always bring in. So I bring those elements into my classes, and I'll even ask, what do you guys want to do? And I always will, the philosophical thing I'll kind of know, or I'll have a conversation before I go in, and then I just get a hit. And I'm like, oh, that's what I'm going to talk about. So for me, it's a place where I get to be organic. And in a class, like when I teach tonight and you take class, when I'm teaching at an event, like I was teaching at Agape, or I teach at a business seminar, like I'll be doing with Janet Atwood, doing some things with her who wrote the Passion Test. They will have a certain context that they're teaching in, and then I will always support them and teach with a theme. That's what I love about Anusara, is because I can weave in and teach to any group and really relate to them. So that's kind of what I do. I just learned, because I've written stuff down and I planned, and then I usually have to throw it away.
Very cool.
It's not about what I want to do. It's what am I okay, this is what we need to do. So that's my secret.
Yeah, you're so sweet to share that.
That's my secret. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. It's my pleasure.
Awesome.
It's my pleasure. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. With my sneeze.